Are you ready to get some pointers about this from a professional psychologist? How to stop overthinking. I'll give you the easiest way I know. First, notice that you are thinking. Do you notice it? This is a process I call meta-cognition. Cognition means thinking. Meta-cognition is a higher level. It's thinking about thinking. And hopefully, as we have this conversation, you'll see that you are thinking. Notice that. One of my colleagues recently said, "Hey, Paul, every problem that we have is a problem with thinking." That's a bold statement. But as I've considered what this colleague shared with me, I think he might be right. Every problem I can think of comes down to a problem with thinking. Well, what about cancer, you might ask? Well, interesting. Okay, so cancer isn't obviously a thinking problem, but thinking that it is a problem is the problem. I think I might be quoting Captain Jack Sparrow from the Pirates of the Caribbean at this point. Anything that occurs to us is technically a neutral event. That's going to sound a little foreign to you unless you've already had a chance to think about that. Everything that happens is a neutral event, meaning it just happens. It is what it is. It takes on meaning through our own interpretation and as we assign meaning to it with our thinking. That's why every problem that we face is a problem with thinking. So just notice that you're doing it, that you're constantly thinking. I did a reaction video here on the channel to an interview with Eckhart Tolle. Love this man and his philosophies. His book, The Power of Now, is really one of the most profound books that I've read in the past decade. And in this interview, he pointed out that thinking is actually the most common and maybe one of the most ingrained addictions that we have as people. Well, that's kind of a weird thing to say, but think about it. An addiction is something you can't stop doing, even if it's hurting you. You can see that that's true for drinking or drugs or other kinds of addictions that can be so destructive in your life. Thinking, I can't stop, even if it's hurting me. Interesting. Well, think about it as an addiction a little bit too, and maybe that'll help. So notice that you're doing this thinking and that it has an impact. For the balance of this video, I'm going to give you 2 hacks, 2 strategies, 2 experiments that you can do right now while we're doing the video. Stay with me and just try this on, okay? What we want to do basically is become an observer of our own thinking. I mentioned Eckhart Tolle earlier, and he suggests that we need to be fully present, and it's really awesome if you can just stop thinking, just not think. I'm afraid that unless you're a guru like he is or some skilled yogi in India somewhere, you're not going to be able to do this very quickly. It's going to take some practice. So here's a couple of exercises that we can try. Now the first one, just follow my lead here and let's see what happens. I want you to pay attention to what your mind is doing as I take you from now to now. What happened in between those 2 nows? Are you noticing some interesting things? Isn't that interesting? Do you want to try it again? Let's do it again. Now just watch what your mind is doing between now and now. Did you notice? This is so interesting. Most of the people I do this exercise with say, nothing. I was just waiting. I was watching. I was present in the moment. I wasn't thinking. And you weren't either. You weren't thinking about all those problems that were bothering you. You were watching. Where's Dr. Paul going? Between now and now. We just demonstrated something that is so powerful. In your mind, we can create a little space of peace where there is no thinking. And it's our thinking that bothers us. Usually thinking about the past and things that have happened, or thinking about the future and what's going to happen, which we don't know, but we can predict things. And because we try to predict things, and sometimes we predict that things are going to be worse, we feel anxiety. Or if we get stuck in the past, we feel depression or guilt or shame. Right now, being present and not thinking creates a space of peace. It's actually quiet in there when we stop the thinking. Isn't that interesting? So try that. Just practice it a little bit as you take yourself from now to now. Notice what happens. Enjoy that feeling of peace. That's kind of fun, isn't it? Let me give you one more. For this one, I'm thinking about an old cartoon that I used to watch, Tom and Jerry. Are you familiar with it? It's about a cat that's chasing a mouse around, and the mouse holes in this cartoon are always very intricately designed archways down in the base molding of the house. And there's furniture and stuff in there. These are great mouse holes, right? But if you can picture yourself as the cat, okay, and you're crouched in front of that mouse hole, you're just watching it. You're going to wait and see what pops out. That's what I want you to do with this next exercise, as I invite you to a position where you can simply watch your thoughts. Let's see what pops out. Now I'm going to give you a little prompt. When I give you the prompt, don't try to think about anything. Don't steer it in any particular direction. Simply watch like the cat, okay? You're watching that mouse hole. See what's going to pop out. Watch your mind. Okay, here's the prompt. I wonder what thought I'll have next. Now watch. I wish you could just interact with me live like you could if you were over at Live on Purpose Central. We have some live groups that we do there. But because I can't hear your answer directly, I'm going to share with you what some of the common responses are. What happened in your mind? Nothing for a minute. And then I thought, oh, I need to go pick up the laundry, or I need to remind the kids to get their homework done. Whatever, okay? Whatever happened in your mind, just notice this. When I gave you the prompt, I wonder what thought I'll have next, there was a space. Did you notice? Let's try it again. If you didn't notice, just try it again. Now remember, you don't have to think about anything. Don't steer it in any particular direction. You might have exactly the same experience. It might be totally different. Either way is fine. Let's try it again. Ready? I wonder what thought I'll have next. Did you notice it that time? There's a little space. That little space is when your mind is not cluttered up with all of the thoughts. You know how usually it's really noisy in there. You're thinking about this, you're thinking about that. You can't turn your mind off. You can't get to sleep because you're thinking about this and thinking about that. Thinking gets really noisy. In this experiment that we just did, notice that there was a brief little space of peace. The natural state of your mind is peace. This is good news. That means to get to the peace that we crave, we got to get past the noise of our own thinking. And we tend to overthink things, and we don't even do a very good job of it. Because while we're overthinking, we're busy predicting what's coming. I did a video last year here on the channel. I'd have to go look it up which one it actually is, but you might remember this if you follow the channel, where I was rolling dice. Does anybody remember this? I was rolling dice and I was trying to predict on camera what the dice would say. And guess what? I missed it. every stinking time. I can't predict what the dice are going to roll. I roll the dice. I'm like, it's going to be 2 5s. Nope. Okay, try it again. It's going to be a 6 and a 3. 2 and a 4. And I'm really bad at predicting what's going to come. So are you. They don't build those big, luxurious casinos in Las Vegas based on winners. No, because people are enormously bad at predicting the outcomes when it's based on chance. You don't know what's coming. You can't predict what's going to happen tomorrow, but you do it all the time. I mean predict, even though we're not accurate. We think that we're right. Oh, things are going to be so bad tomorrow. You don't know. Notice that you're doing that thinking, and that's the danger of overthinking things. Because not only are we inaccurate most of the time, we're doing it in a way that causes us misery. The natural state of our mind is peace. Let's see if we can calm some of the noise and connect to that space that I hopefully demonstrated to you with that exercise. So I gave you 2 of them. Maybe you can use that, practice it, find a way to calm some of the noise in your head so that you stop overthinking everything. I am so honored to be on your team, that you're here, and that you actually watched clear through the video to this point. If you're still here with me, it means that you're serious about your personal development. Will you let me help you to upgrade that? Come over to Live on Purpose Central. I built it for people like you. The link is in the description. go.liveonpurposecentral.com. I think you're going to be really pleased with what you find.
And I wished I had a number so